Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring something that really caught my eye when I looked at the source material. It's a book called Emotional Connection. Now, you probably think, okay, love story, right?
Right, that's the natural assumption.
Well, what's so interesting, what really stood out, is that the book says explicitly it's not a love story.
hmm
Instead, it calls itself a self-respect story, which, I mean, that alone just challenges how we usually think about relationships, emotional stuff.
It absolutely does. And our mission today really is to unpack how this book tries to build a fresh, sort of emotionally intelligent way of thinking, especially for younger people. And it does this by, well, breaking some pretty common societal myths.
Mm.
We want to get into why this approach is so valuable for you navigating things today. And what's really interesting and kind of key for who it's aimed at is this bilingual format. It uses Hindi and English together.
Bilingual, okay.
Yeah, guiding readers in both, which makes these, important emotional tools way more accessible.
That phrase you used, breaking societal myths, that definitely jumped out. Sounds pretty significant. Can you give us a feel for what kind of myths it's actually tackling, especially
Yeah.
thinking about how young people, first start interacting?
Sure. So what's really central here is how the book shows that healthy interaction between genders, right from an early age, can actually protect against emotional exploitation down the line. It really pushes this core idea about teach young minds to see each other as human beings first.
Human beings first, okay.
Yeah, which is a strong counter to that societal myth, that early interactions have to be about romance or attraction.
Right, that pressure.
Exactly. It's about building a foundation of just mutual respect, redefining connection, really, instead of jumping into something undefined.
That's a really powerful reframing. But I mean, seeing everyone as human beings first,
Mm.
that can be tough in the real world, right, with all the other stuff going on.
Oh, definitely.
Does the book kind of acknowledge that difficulty? And what are these specific silent dangers it talks about, the things that get in the way?
Yeah, that's a critical point, and the book doesn't shy away from it. It gets quite specific about dangers like soft porn, for instance, and also the constant stream of social media reels.
Right, the real
How
stuff.
they create this kind of illusion of instant connection or unrealistic attraction. It can really mess with expectations about relationships.
So how does the book deal with that?
Well, it addresses them directly by teaching how things like genuine friendship, mutual support, even just platonic coexistence, simply existing together respectfully, can be really powerful ways to find true emotional freedom.
So focusing on non-romantic bonds.
Exactly. Building strong connections where respect and understanding are the main things, not romance.
Okay. Now, I also picked up on something else in the sources about the structure. These crime alert style lessons. That sounds pretty unique for this kind of book.
It really is distinctive.
Can you give an example? How does that work in practice?
Yeah, it's not just theory. The book actually weaves in these quite striking crime alert style life lessons. And moral guidance, too, at key moments in the story. So imagine maybe a situation where a character feels pressured, maybe online or in a conversation that feels off.
Hmm.
The book then presents this clear alert, like a practical way to spot that manipulation, reinforce their own self-worth, and sort of navigate away from it.
Ah, so it makes it really concrete.
Exactly. It makes these sometimes abstract ideas really tangible and actionable for young readers, almost like a real-time guide.
Right. So bringing this all together for you, our listener, what we've unpacked today is this really fresh take on emotional intelligence. It's about building self-respect, figuring out relationships without falling into those common, often silent traps.
Mm-hmm.
And it really hammers home that true emotional freedom. It comes from seeing people as whole individuals, valuing real connection over just, surface stuff or prescribed roles.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, building on that. Given how fast everything's changing, especially in digital spaces, how we interact every day, how might taking this idea seriously, human beings first, seeing everyone as just a person deserving respect, maybe even platonic connection, how might that fundamentally reshape your own search for connection and self-respect?
That's a great question.
Yeah, just something to ponder. What could true platonic coexistence, built on understanding and genuine support, what could that actually unlock for you?